What if language isn't just how we communicate, but how we conquer, how we control, how we define who we are? For centuries, empires have understood one thing. Language isn't just about words, it's about power. Welcome to another episode of Concepts Unraveled from the Infinite Within channel, where we rethink the ideas shaping our world. Today, we're diving into the power game of language and the invisible influence it holds over our thoughts, identities, and societies. Subscribe to our channel to explore life lessons, cultures, and timeless philosophies that shape the way we see the world. Now let's go beyond the obvious together. Imagine a vast empire stretching across continents, with people speaking dozens, if not hundreds, of different languages. How do you keep this empire united? How do you manage trade, enforce laws, and communicate across this immense expanse? For the Roman Empire, the answer was Latin. Not only was Latin the language of the elite, but it became the official language of governance, law, and military. It was a unifying force. Latin wasn't just about words, it was about control. When you have a common language, you have a common identity. Through conquest and empire building, the Romans imposed Latin on diverse peoples. Whether in North Africa, Europe, or the Middle East, Latin became the lingua franca. As historian Philip Baldi explains in the book The Foundations of Latin, Latin wasn't just the language of rulers, it became the vehicle of Roman law, culture, and even religion. Fast forward to the rise of the British Empire. What began as a language spoken by a small island nation evolved into the voice of the world's largest empire. Ironically, English, once dismissed as a coarse dialect, went on to dominate global commerce, science, and diplomacy. How did this happen? English's rise was a bit different from Latin's. It wasn't imposed immediately through conquest. The rise of English is deeply tied to the political and economic power of Britain. As the British Empire expanded, English became the administrative language of the empire. In Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, and beyond, English took center stage in governance, trade, and education, slowly pushing local languages to the margins of public life. English didn't just become the language of the British elite, it became the language of science, medicine, and technology. From Isaac Newton to Charles Darwin, the major scientific breakthroughs were documented in English. English-speaking scholars became the global authority. As noted in The History of the English Language by Albert C. Baugh, English grew in prestige, especially after the Norman Conquest, and eventually became the lingua franca of the modern world, spoken across continents and influencing every corner of society. But here's where it gets tricky. Language imposition doesn't always come with force or conquest. Today it happens through policies, education, and institutions. It's quiet, it's subtle, but it's just as powerful. Language imposition has often been framed as a means of unity, progress, or standardization. But what's really at play here is control. Who defines what's proper or universal? And why does it matter? What happens when your language, the one that connects you to your culture, your history, your people, is seen as inferior or irrelevant? Language imposition isn't just a relic of the past. Even today, debates around language policies in classrooms, government offices, and political discourse continue to ignite passionate responses across the world. Now let's bring this discussion closer to India, a country home to over 1,600 languages, each carrying centuries of culture, tradition, and identity. Despite this rich linguistic diversity, India has no national language. Still, in recent decades, Hindi has increasingly been promoted in national spheres, seen by some as a unifying force, and by others as a threat to linguistic diversity and regional autonomy. In states like Tamil Nadu, this push has sparked fierce resistance. From the anti-Hindi agitations of the 1960s to more recent demonstrations, the imposition goes far beyond language. It's about cultural identity, and for many, it's about preserving autonomy. For many in southern India, Hindi represents more than a means of communication. It has come to symbolize northern dominance. The concern wasn't just about learning a new language, it was about preserving rich regional cultures, literatures, and identities that could be diluted or overshadowed by the political power that Hindi represented. So why does all of this matter? Well, the imposition of language continues to shape our world. When a language becomes dominant, it shapes knowledge, science, culture, and ultimately, who gets to speak. Language, after all, is more than words. It's the way we share ideas, express emotion, and connect. But when a language is forced upon, it isn't just communication that's at risk. It's identity. But here's the thing. Multilingualism doesn't have to be a conflict. In fact, embracing multiple languages can be a source of strength. Imagine a world where we celebrate not just one language, but many. A world where language is a bridge, not a wall. When we let different languages coexist, we open the door to greater creativity, better solutions, and deeper understanding. Empires may have used language to dominate, but we have the power to use it, to connect, to heal, to build a world where no tongue is silenced and no story goes unheard. If your language disappeared tomorrow, what part of yourself would you lose? Let us know in the comments section. Keep watching Concepts Unraveled and explore our other playlists for more fascinating insights. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, The Infinite Within, to stay updated on new videos.